Hey, everybody, it's Jay Baer from Convince and Convert. Delighted to have you here for today's session, how to optimize your client's user experience for a crisis. Really appreciate you taking the time to join myself and my friends from Wix for today's session. Quick round of introductions. Kobe, take it away.
Sure. So nice to meet you, everyone. I'm not sharp as Jay with his suit, but anyway, you can see me in the backyard. I mean, this is the new reality, and this is exactly why we did this session for you. I'm leading the user marketing at Wix. I had an agency in the past 8 years before I joined Wix 6 years ago. And actually, I bring my experience to add more marketing tools, either for you to use for your clients, to grow your business, grow your client's business. Happy to have you and share more about the knowledge. And thank you very much, Jay, for joining us and hosting this session.
You bet, Kobe. Thank you so much for taking the time, and to everybody at Wix for putting this session together. I am Jay Baer, Hall of Fame keynote speaker. I'm president of the digital marketing consultancy Convince and Convert, best-selling author of 6 books, and I've been in digital strategy and web strategy since 1993. I am deceptively youthful looking. I've actually been doing this since domain names were free. My favorite story is that Kobe knows this, that I actually sold the domain name Budweiser.com to Anheuser-Busch Brewing in the United States for 50 cases of beer. That's how long I have been doing this. I have owned a whole series of web strategy, web design, and digital marketing companies over the past, almost 30 years now. So delighted to have you here. Kobe and I are going to turn off our cameras now just for bandwidth purposes and make sure that we can have a seamless experience for you all. So I'll see you in just a bit, but you will continue to hear us. What we're going to cover in this session, how to adapt to COVID-19 for your clients. Kobe's going to talk about the marketing pyramid, 8 ways to optimize the user experience. And we'll leave some time for Q&A as well. Speaking of questions and answers, there are 2 ways to do that here in BlueJeans. One is the event chat, and we see a number of you actually using the event chat now, which is fantastic. Please feel free to do that if you've got a comment, an observation. If you have a specific question that you would like Kobe, myself, or either of us to answer, you might use the Q&A function of BlueJeans. You'll see it as an icon probably on the right-hand side of your browser. It says, ironically, Q&A. If you click that, you can put in an actual question, and we'll try and address that, time permitting, at the conclusion of the session. Also, we are recording this, so you'll have access to the recording after we conclude. One of my favorite pieces of research in this category is from Oracle, who found that 86% of people would actually pay more for a better customer experience. The customer experience isn't just how we make decisions about who to buy from, but we would actually pay more for a superior customer experience. At the same time, Blue Corona found that half of all consumers say that a website is the number 1 factor in deciding whether or not a business is credible. Isn't that incredible? The number 1 factor in deciding whether a business is credible. As somebody who literally got started in this business when you had to convince people that a website was possible or important in any way, it is amazing how far we have come in that regard. And especially right now, when in-person experiences are mitigated or in some cases prohibited by COVID-19, your client's website has to do more customer experience heavy lifting than ever before. The website is more important today, in my estimation, I think Kobe will agree, than it has ever been in the history of the web. Because quite literally, for your clients' potential customers and their current customers, in many cases today, the website is the brand. It's the entire manifestation of the brand. They can't show up at the restaurant and have an experience in that regard. There's so many things that just aren't possible right now that the website itself takes on added importance. And that's why it's so critical to see examples like this. This is a Wix site Plastic Freedom. They're a UK-based marketplace for non-plastic products. And I love how their website today immediately addresses COVID-19 related questions. You see a banner there. We're still dispatching orders. 10% off with the code Stay Strong 10. Love that example. Right at the top, here's the banner, promo code. And then they have a Lightbox modal that comes up and says, here's what's going on. Here's the update. Read more. Here's what's happening. You can't miss it. And it builds trust, right? It builds credibility in a time that is so important. And this idea of the website and the website being ready for business is a huge part of the marketing pyramid. Kobi, talk to him a little bit about how that works, please.
Sure. So this is a methodology that we believe need to structure the way that you as agencies, as people that build websites for others, as our some of our partners, as usually, I mean, in that sense, like website is not enough to have a good design, to make it look good and everything. You need to make sure that it's ready for business. Same as you have on your storefront down the street. You're not allowed to people to come in unless the front window is set up, unless you have a cashier, unless you have things that you want to promote inside. The same thing you need to have on your website as well. And this is like the first layer of this pyramid. Then we know that our users, our visitors on our website are not only visiting our website, are happening in different places. So they're on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, other places. And we need to have like an online presence. And this is the second layer. And once we have this online presence, we need to feed this presence with a good content. So it means that we need to get social media in place. We need to create videos. We need to create content, blog posts, etc. And also, of course, sending email marketing is part of email marketing tools that we can use. So having these three layers, only when we do this, and Jay mentioned that building trust is the foundation, that then only we can do advanced marketing tools and going to paid media and other stuff. So if you think about your clients also in this structure, it also helps you to provide the service a bit better. So you first start with a ready for business website, then you provide them more solutions to online presence. Then some of you probably do social media marketing or helping with content management. And then some of you probably doing much more advanced tools as paid media or advanced SEO as a start. So thinking about this pyramid, and going on this website, I think that these days really things have going to change, and having this the website align, and these are the main things that you need to do is understand exactly what are the KPIs and the goals of these websites. Jay, if you can exactly. So the thing is, think about your website and what exactly my client's goal of this website. Do I want people to leave their details? I want people to read my blog post. I want visitors to purchase. So when you're building the website for your client, think about what is the exact goal of it. Then think if the design that you're doing achieves this goal. We need to make sure that all these call to action are going into this goal, and all the structure that we're doing is aimed into the one thing that we want people to do on the website. Then we want to see and make sure if we have enough social proof. Again, accountability is a lot, making people understand that trust is a huge factor, as Jay mentioned in some of these research that people are saying, and try to think if you can add more layers of a social proof to it. Then, of course, you need to think if the website is ready for Google. Did I did all the meta tags on SEO? Did I connect my website to Google Search Console? We do have some of these tools within Wix that already do this type of things for you. But before handing over the website for your client, make sure that you have all these things. And now we have a new reality. Things have changed, and we need to adapt our website to different things. We need maybe to tweak our product. Some of our services of our clients have moved online, and things have changed to this new reality. And we need to make sure that the changes that we're doing on the website reflect and making things much more relevant for our users. Because if users will feel that we have a dynamic website that is changed, it's also going to feel for them that they want to buy for this business. So if you of building clients to the website, think about how you can adapt in these different realities that we have today, adapt the website to have it much more relevant to the things that we have today. So we're going to walk you through today, Jane, myself, about 8 ways to optimize the user experience and getting more conversions for your client's website. I think it will be a good 8 fascinating ways that for you to implement with your clients. Jay, you want to start with the first way, the first example?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Kobe. Appreciate that. First thing is to create an intuitive site structure. And one of the things that I always laugh about with regards to web design and having a business ready website, having been involved in this for so long and worked on hundreds and hundreds of sites, is that the web is unlike any other information system in the history of the world, and in some ways is more difficult than any other information system in the history of the world, because every time you go to a website, every time your clients' customers go to a website that you've built, for example, the user has to do the same thing, which is to orient themselves around what is the navigation structure, the wayfinding structure, the signage, if you will, for this particular site. And even though there are more best practices now, partially because of the great work that Wix does, there are more best practices now around website usability and interfaces than there have been at any point previously. It is still also true that every website has a different navigation structure. And you think about like how it's so strange. It asks so much of the user. Like imagine you went to a newsstand and they had a series of magazines there for purchase. And every time you grabbed a magazine, it had a different page numbering scheme. So this magazine is only odd numbers, and this magazine is only even numbers, and this magazine, it starts at page 200 and counts down to page 1, and this magazine is only prime numbers. It would be madness, but yet that is exactly how websites work. So the first thing we've got to do is make sure, especially now when people are frustrated and uncertain and they're short of time, the first thing we've got to do is make sure that the website navigation is intuitive and simple. Do not get cute with your navigation labels. Many, many years ago, I built a website called azfamily.com. It was the largest regional website for consumer content in Arizona, in the U.S. And I literally designed the site structure, on a piece of paper in my backyard, and I decided that we were going to name the events listing content, which is a big part of the site. We were going to name it Sunspots because the Phoenix area is called the Valley of the Sun, and I thought it'd be really funny to call it Sunspots. And turns out, and Kobe will talk about analytics here in a little bit, turns out got no traffic because nobody knew what sunspots were. And then somebody who worked on my team said, hey, Jay, what if we called it calendar? What if we just called it calendar? So I changed the navigation label to calendar, and traffic went up 400% the next day. So navigation labeling is not the time to express your creativity, friends. Every page is a potential home page on the site, and that is especially true now because what we're seeing, Kobe will talk a little bit more about SEO in a minute, but what we're seeing right now because of COVID-19 is people's search taxonomy is changing dramatically. People are searching for phrases that they never would have searched for before. Consequently, you've got new pages, even within sites that you've built, going up in search engine results in a way that they haven't historically. And what this means is every single page on the site is potentially a home page, more so than it's ever been. So people have to be able to orient themselves around the purpose of the site, the structure of the site instantaneously. We can't, assume they're going to come through the front door. And of course, poor navigation is a really good way to lose visitors. But here's an example of good navigation from Forge to Table. Kobe, you want to talk me through this example?
Sure. It's funny that you mentioned the newsstand. I always use this analogy that I see a website as a newspaper. A newspaper has a clear headline, has clear subtitles, has paragraph. You know exactly how to structure it, the way you do it. And I think this is a great example how it's structured right. You start with a good title that indicates exactly what this is about, which is really, really important. Having a really, really clear text and messaging. You don't really use only images You want to tell exactly the search engine exactly what it's about. Then you have different type of sections inside. About me, you have like Instagram feed, you have other things. What's interesting in this guy that creates handmade knife designs for different type of home chefs and cook chefs is also the ability for him to adapt, especially for the COVID-19 issues. He did like an emphasize that he's still shipping. So there is an announcement that when visitors coming to the website, they know that the shipping is still, I mean, business is still live. I mean, I can get a shipping, everything is working for me, which is really, really important. That the first thing that a visitor catch in his eye is that the business is live and things are happening. It's not like shut down or closed. Another thing that he did to tweak things is he decided, since he's really, really strong with the restaurants and chef communities, so for every purchase on his website, he provide donation for $5 for every knife that he sold for the month of April for the restaurant employee relief fund. So he really be adaptive enough to tight the changes that's happening around us as a new reality to probably increase his conversion, getting a better structure, and make sure it's dynamic enough so people understand that this business know exactly the activity that is happening, and he has clear messaging for people to come and increasing conversions.
Yeah,
Sure, Jay, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, the site is so easy to understand, and the way that page is blocked out is terrific, and obviously very, very effective on mobile as well, just because of how modular it is.
Yeah, one more thing which is interesting, regardless of the structure, is this. He understood that a huge type of that we talk about trust is using influencers. So what he did, he approached YouTube influencers and Instagram influencers that either are like homeschooling for cooking, or people that are doing reviews about like kitchen gadgets, and he sent them the knife, and he got amazing reviews that also drive traffic and social proof to the website. So I think that, and Jay, you mentioned about like that the phrases have changed, the search queries have changed. So I think that it's all about the intent. Think about your client's websites. What's now going to be the new intent? Think how your strategy or SEO strategy now maybe need to be changed. And you need to think about different type of pages that maybe in the past were not even getting organic results, and now getting organic results. As Jay mentioned, every web page on your website can be a homepage these days. And using and understanding to know these changes and doing it fast, we know that SEO takes a lot of time. And we do believe that time consuming is something that you as agencies need to have things much more efficient and seamless in order to get things done much faster. So what we did in the past month on Wix is introduce SEO patterns. So you have the ability to create like titles and description across all your products in one place. And it can be like an SEO rule that goes to all your pages. And it really makes it time consuming and saves time, which is really, really important. Think about the way that you going to customize the meta tags or advanced meta tags to be relevant. It could be structured data these days. There are a lot of things around voice search. It's also something that probably more and more of us going to use. So voice search could be part of structured advanced meta tags. And try to think about your client's new micro moments phrases. So let's take about this example of this forge to table. So probably in the past 3 months ago, the most big phrases that people would try to go to the website would be probably around like chef knives, starting my first chef knife, etc. And maybe today it's more about like home cooking, that people are more at home, and you need to think about different and more clear phrases that more people will come to the website that are different than were before. So a lot of us are at home these days and looking for ways to do like improve our cooking skills. And maybe my first chef knife for home cooking. These type of phrases are really, really strong. The changes, these micro moments phrases that are much more relevant these days. So I think that going into your client's website, think how you can adapt the SEO strategy and change it to create other things and different things. Another good example that we have here is from Crook and Mortar. It's a hard seltzer brand with zero sugar, made everything organically. So beside the fact that he's done his SEO right, today they're getting 25,000 organic traffic a month only from search engines. And the nice thing that they did to create this and adapt the new reality is they created some type of a hashtag that indicates around like the world's largest digital cheer. They know that people don't go to bars anymore, don't drink beer, and there is a social distancing these days that you must comply with the new reality and rules. And that's why they create some type of world's largest digital cheers, and they created a campaign around it on Twitter and Instagram called Cheers Up, which was their initiative to create some more awareness and brand and raise also awareness, and also them did special funds for people in need. So these are, in my eyes, type of things that when we now approaching our client's website, need to create this new adaptation. Although that SEO is a long-term strategy in most cases, I think that these days we need to think differently, think what we can pop up and change in our website, in our client's website, and think which type of new phrases are relevant that we can create content around them. And Jay can share more about how trust is important driving people's decisions.
I love this idea of SEO patterns, Kobe. What a huge time saver to be able to create a schema and apply it across the entire navigation, especially if you're going to go in and do some changes to your meta tags, your descriptions, your canonicals, because of differing patterns of queries amongst potential customers. Man, that's a huge time saver for agencies. Well done on the product side for sure. As Kobe said, one of the things that is true about this pandemic is it has totally upended our relationship with trust. We're not really sure what the answer is to a lot of questions we may have. And so all companies and organizations are going to have to rebuild and fortify trust with their customers and prospective customers. And consequently, whereas previously somebody might come to a site and sort of like, yeah, I'll buy this and give it a try, or yeah, I'll get on the email list and give that a try, or people might have been more willing to sort of experiment or explore options. Now there's less inherent trust and some uncertainty about outcomes in general. And so it's more important than ever to build social proof or trust building elements into the sites that you create for your clients. Things like reviews and testimonials where appropriate. Things like samples and examples. One of the best practices out there that I don't see often enough is when you're asking somebody to sign up for an email newsletter, to include a link right adjacent to the sign up box that says see a sample. People can click that, pops up a Lightbox modal, and you can examine a sample email newsletter opportunity. That's a proven to increase conversion rates, because then people know what they're getting into. Also make sure that we're showing our visitors, risk reducers, right? Money back guarantee, things along those lines. Any awards or recognition that might be appropriate in this particular category. All of those kind of crumbs and assets are more important now than they were a month or two ago, and I think will continue to be important for quite some time into the future. This is on the left-hand side there, Team MBL. It's an online music school, good idea as it turns out, offering weekly classes, demo drops, record label opportunities, one-on-one training, and you can see they have very clear trust proof right from the beginning on the homepage. They're trusted by big brands, Hexagon, Dance Fair, RefX, etc. in that category. Those may not be brands that you're familiar with, but amongst their potential customers, those brands really resonate, and to say that they're trusted by those organizations removes some uncertainty and risk on the part of potential customers. And then on the right-hand side, Tokyo Localized, it's a free walking tour company that educates travelers about Japanese history, Japanese food, Japanese culture, with a series of walking tours in Tokyo. In 2019, they received a certificate of excellence from TripAdvisor, obviously a big tastemaker in that category, and also received a Best Activities and Tours in Japan award, which is pretty spectacular. But you can see right on the homepage, you see the trusted TripAdvisor seal, chosen by travelers reviews, the awards. From the first 10 seconds that you're on this site, you're like, okay, I don't have to doubt whether or not this is a possible solution. It still may not be the best solution, but you're not going at it from a degree of, hey, is there risk inherent here? So both of these really good examples of the kind of social proof that is more important now than ever before. Fourth thing that Kobe and I wanted to talk to you about in terms of how to optimize your clients' sites is have your calls to action focus on the main key performance indicator of the site. One of the things that's very, very true in web design and information architecture as a whole is that if everything is important, then by definition, nothing is important. And that has applications for site layout. It has applications for font sizing, right? If everything's an H2, well, then nothing's actually a headline, is it? It has applications for submit buttons and other calls to action. You have to really understand at every page, and actually when we work on web strategy in my company, we actually do this exact process as I'm about to describe. We look at every single page and say, on this page, what's the best possible behavior that a visitor to this page could engage in next? Well, what would be the second best or most valuable behavior? What would be the third best behavior? When you actually literally write that down at the page level, it's incredible how it changes the way you think about information architecture and calls to action. You start to design pages not just to be a page or not just to be pretty or informational or educational or entertaining, but you start to create pages working backwards to facilitate the key visitor behaviors that you have identified are strategically and operationally important for the business. One of the other things to ponder in this regard is that when you have a key conversion page, it's a form, it's a checkout page, it's an add to cart option, it's a sign up for the email newsletter, it's a landing page, maybe behind an SEM or an SEO program. Any place that is overtly designed to gather information or money, that is a place that you need to really limit the number of clickable options that you are presenting to the visitor. I love this example from Ferretly. And what they do is they identify employees and candidates that have exhibited undesirable behavior online by analyzing both the text and the images from a subject's social media profile. It's a little crazy, right? You think, you post weird stuff on Instagram, somebody will find it eventually. Yeah, Ferretly will find it. That's actually what they do. But I love this website structure. You can see it before y'all play it again. So you see, oops, let me go back one, sorry. You can see it from the top here. In each kind of screenful here, if you look for the green buttons and stuff, and then the white outline boxes, it's very specific, right? If I'm on this screenful, I want you to click here to learn more, for example. I want you to do this thing. There isn't a series of options. It isn't a do this, or you could do this, or maybe you could do this other thing. It's at this point, do this thing, which is absolutely a best practice, and it's set up to effectuate their key performance indicators for the site, which is lead generation. Love that example. Kobe, did you work on that one?
No, but I love this example as well. I think it's such a good structured website with a clear call to action. This one is a really, really good example in my eyes.
And it's not just about it's beautiful. And it's not just about being good on the site either, right? You want it to look consistent in all the places. Tell them a little bit about Beepart.
Yeah, so as we said, I mean the pyramid. Hopefully, you understand that the first layer is to have like a ready for business website, and we walk you through some of the things that makes this website relevant, as social proof, clear call to actions, a good structure, Google ready website. But once you finish with this, your clients' visitors, most of them are going into social media. I mean, they're on Facebook, they're on Instagram, they're on YouTube, and you want to make their client's brand consistent on different places. So not only on the website will have the same design, you want to make this design look the same both on Instagram and on Facebook. And I think a good example of this, Bpart handmade jewelry from that is based in Slovakia, is making sure that all these online presence was also adaptive to the COVID-19. So there's a mention of the COVID-19 everywhere on all the posts, social media, short description, long description of these online channels, and it makes the brand much more consistent. And you're already building the designs of your client's website. So why not take the design and adapt it to all the places and provide your clients a much more of holistic solution to more online presence areas that could work. And I think that the next thing is really something that good for you, Jay, to illustrate how you can and the importance of helping a client in real time and making the website live and making sure that it's what things happening in real time makes an increased conversion there.
Yeah, thanks, Kobi. It's interesting. One of the things that I believe to be true, I don't have research on this yet, we're working on it, but one of the things that I have observed as part of the pandemic is that at some level, people might have more time, quote unquote, because maybe in my case, I'm not traveling or maybe they're having to take fewer hours of work or have been unfortunately furloughed or laid off in some way. So some people may have less time, or more time, I should say. They may have more time, but everybody has less patience. And it's one of the things that is just true psychologically. When people have uncertainty or fear or confusion, a lot of times that manifests in less patience. And so if you thought that the visitors to your clients' websites wanted things right now or were demanding or needed clarity before, that is very true now. And in fact, this research comes from last year, but Forrester found that 53% of adults in the U.S. will leave a website if they can't find answers. In some ways, I'm surprised that's not 100%. And website visitors who use chat are 2.8 times more likely to convert. And so one of the things that Kobi and I believe you should do as website creators and advisors and strategists is to say, how can my clients' customers get the information they need as quickly as possible with as few clicks or keystrokes as possible? And in some cases, that actually would indicate that you do something like a live chat or other kind of interface, which of course Wix can help you with. This is the chef in the dish, yeah, Kobi?
Yeah. So a few things here, and I see that we have so many examples of home cooking and chefs and food. So I'm sure it's part of the new reality that's getting every one of us at home bored and eating and I think that the fact that we have a chat on the website, we have communication that's happening in different places as well. We have communication on emails, on Facebook Messenger. We're getting a different type of communication for our clients. And one of the things that we did in Wix is aggregated all the communication in one place. So we have like one inbox that is live both on your desktop and mobile app. And if you're getting a message through chat, if you're getting a message through Messenger, if you're getting an inbox through your email client, everything is aggregated to one place. And once you have like the email customer's ID, it's a unique ID that all the conversation is happening in one place. And the thing is, and this is exactly one of the things that the chef and the dish is using, is that we have a rich keyboard. So within the chat, either if it's on Facebook Messenger, either if it's on your website, we have like a rich keyboard that already have all your products or your services, your coupons that you can send as part of the conversation. And if this is happening also on the go, you can enter and reply on the go on the mobile. And another thing that this brand is did a change to the new reality, most of the time they're doing like cooking classes, and they understood that the reality is now different, and now they're offering some type of like a live classes called like what's in your fridge classes, that having the site visitors like a coupon in real time, and they're using our email marketing tools, using like automations of people leaving like leads. They have like an automatic email that can be sent, and this is something that it's really good for you to keep the communication in one place. I think that another thing that we announced, I think even yesterday, that we do have now integration with Zoom. So if you want to create like virtual classes, you're doing like webinars or other stuff, think about your clients moving to these directions to getting more leads and attraction, you can integrate Zoom classes into a Wix website, which really add another layer of adaptation to this new reality, which I think it's pretty cool that is done really, really fast, and adapts also ourselves to this new reality. So
that's really interesting with the Zoom component. That's really cool. One question we have in the Q&A, one of our attendees asked Kobi, how as a Wix partner, how can you get the live chat put on the site? What's the process for doing that?
All right, so if you go to the editor, you just have like add button, and one of the buttons there is like the chat. You also it's really, really intuitive to see it, and once you have this chat, you can set up like away messages. You can make sure that other contributors will answer chat instead of you, if you have like more customer care people that you want to answer on their behalf. And once this integrated, you can have like a welcome message, and all the communication also happening through the mobile app. And more than this, you also have indication if you have a visitor on the website that you can create a push message into the chat. So one of your clients had his chat on his website, and he has now an anonymous visitor, and you can really try to push the chat and create a message and speak with his user and turn it from a visitor into a customer, which is really, really interesting.
Yeah, it sure is. Valencia asked for a little bit more on the Zoom integration. Is the idea, Kobi, that you could click a button on the site and it would open up a Zoom meeting that you could then conduct with the prospect or the site visitor?
Yeah. So this is part of it. I think that there is the ability also to embed the session. We can send and share the link of the new integration into the chat if here on the Q&A or afterwards, if people want to learn more about it. But this was really a new integration we did like 2 days ago, mainly for the booking type of users we have. As some of you know, in Wix, we have like a huge booking calendar that you can create for your gym, your yoga classes, your trainer, your spa. And since a lot of the things are going now virtually, we thought that integrating Zoom makes things much more robust for these type of clients.
Yeah, what a great idea. I love the ability to have a quick meeting. One of the attendees in the chat talks about having a online yoga classes now. Obviously, the yoga studio is probably closed, but having the ability to do an online class. That's Eileen. Hey, Eileen, thanks for popping in. Kobi, you want to talk a little bit about analytics? Yeah.
So in my eyes, this is, I think, the most important part at the end. I mean, at the end, you having so many clients, each one of you, and you want to see that the website that you just built for them also providing and pushing for business goals. So I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with Facebook Pixel, Google Analytics, Google Tag Manager, and use these type of things. But what we was really important for us to do is to, again, save you time as agencies and provide you things that are out of the box. So today, we're mapping all the business events on behalf of every client, of every website that you have. So if you have like page views, add to cart clicks, product views clicks, booking session clicks, lead form submission, open chat, close chat, events, RSVPs, subscribers, all of these events are business events that you want to track. And once you have the ability to track them, it's much easier for you to show the clients that you provide them business goals. So all these things are out of the box. You only need to add your either Facebook Pixel ID or Google Analytics ID, and that's it. Everything is getting out of the box. All the mapping of the business events are really delivered through these channels. Everything is also relevant on Google Tag Manager as data layer. And once you have everything these set up, usually what I like to do, and as I share with you, I had an agency, I like to sit back for 2 weeks and try to see the behavior of the website. Usually maybe send it to few family, friends, close customers to see the behavior that they have on the client's website, to see exactly which buttons that they click, which things they're looking at, how the funnel look like from product views to purchase, to see where we have dropped and learn on top of it. We also have integration with Hotjar or Crazy Egg, if you're familiar, to create like heat maps of the website. So if you have heat maps, you also can see if the navigation you did makes a lot of sense. And once you have this type of data and insights, you can adapt and do these changes in order to increase conversions, increase the navigation and behavior of the visitors on the website. So in my eyes, I think this is the most important thing as an agency. So it's good to have an amazing website to your clients. It's good to create like marketing, but at the end, if you cannot show him that you drive business goals, he will not stay with you. And this, in my eyes, is really important for you to really invest time, making sure that everything is set up, having the time to the first 2 weeks of the website to really gear up and getting some feedback and data, and then do these changes and be much more ready to share it with more people and doing much more campaigns around it. So in my eyes, it's really nice to have this really intuitive and save time for you. And I think that the one thing that maybe will be good to finish with is, at the end, we have around us a new reality that we need to adapt. We need to work fast, and we need to think differently. I'm sure that you also, as agency owners, thought about your agency differently. So, for example, maybe some of you had a lot of clients from the tourism industry, and you need to do some changes and think, all right, maybe I need to change my clientele to a different type of segment. So same as you have in your mind these changes, think about your clients and what needs they need to change. So the ability to do these changes are so important, because you need to provide and have the platform that allow you these type of really, really fast changes. And also, in some cases, the clients can go by themselves and change some content on the editor. Everything is really, really intuitive as a drag and drop, and having the ability to this content. And I think that really this is something that, at least in our eyes, see as an added value for you to choosing the platform that you build for your next clients or next project, having the ability to doing things that are much more robust, having things to add more layers of integration and things that you're getting out of the box and save time. These are the things that are really, really important. Another thing that's really been introduced, which I think is really important, and maybe Jay, you can share also. I mean, probably in your agency you have designers and content people, and maybe people that they're doing some things more about like the analytics, and you need to have different type of roles and permission to the website, and not in all cases like it's working with one password. So maybe you can also share how it was working in your agency. But we introduced a new roles and permission features, which you can set up different type of rules and permission to different type of people. So some people can create blog posts, some people can go to the editor, some others only can publish it. And I think it's really create your agency much more flexible and robust, and things are changed. What's your take on this, Jay?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That sort of various permission levels based on role is incredibly critical. As your agency grows and you have people doing different specific tasks within your overall services ecosystem, it's definitely a best practice to go that route, not only because they may see a different version of the Wix backend that's more tuned for their particular role, but also just from a good password security perspective, right? I mean, everybody on this session has either experienced or is familiar with some sort of horror story where somebody's got the password and that person quits or gets fired, and now you can't find the password, and it's like this whole this whole project. And we've even worked with some really, really big companies who still have that problem. So the more specific you can be about authentication and permissions from a security standpoint, the better off you'll be.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, at the end, I think it's important for us also. We really want to listen. I mean, for us, it's really, really important having this agencies relationship, and we have a big partner program that we've been developing the past year, and we are keen to get more agencies to our partner program. You can scale your agency. You're gonna get a dedicated account manager for you. We want to help you fulfill projects, doing complicated things. There is a huge team behind you that help you complete these projects on Wix, even if it's complicated projects. You will not believe which type of things people are doing these days on Wix and providing different type of solutions. So in my eyes, I think it's a great program, and probably you can learn more after the session with more options that we offer with the partner program.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thanks, Kobi. And in fact, we've got some questions in the Q&A as well from Monica and from Jen, who definitely want some help with their sites or client sites as well. I'm going to get into a couple of questions here on one quick question on the Zoom integration again, Kobi. Andrea asks, can you connect Zoom to a different email account, so a different Zoom login than the email that you use for your Wix account? So
yes, since it's integration, you don't have to tie it up with your Wix account. You can really set up a different type of an email to the Zoom integration, same as you can do with our Facebook integration to Facebook Messenger. You don't necessarily need to have on the same email. It's a different type of layer of a user, so it could be different. So if you want, I mean, you can go, I think it was published really like an hour ago or so. There is in Wix Facebook page, there is all about this Zoom integration. And you can learn more over there, and probably having more on the discussion if you need.
This is a real-time session, friends. This is published like 5 minutes ago, and here we're already talking about it. Way to go, Wix. That's pretty awesome. I love that. A couple questions, Kobi, about the chat. So one of our attendees asked if somebody has a very specific question that comes through the chat, does that then get routed to somebody who manages the site? Does it get routed to them via email? How does that handoff happen from the chat tool to a person, if necessary?
All right, so I think it's a bit more structured than this. So first of all, you can have set up the type of notification and which type of emails are getting new leads or new chat on your website. So then if someone leave the details in your forum or someone have a chat, you can have multiple people having different permission to the website, and each one of them either on the mobile app or on the desktop can get this notification either on a push message or an email. So you're having all these things, and you can set up different type of emails that will get this notification. We also have desktop notification. So if someone is on the dashboard, you can see really right away an indication that there is someone started a chat. And also everything is saved on the history. So even if someone initiated a chat or spoke and you were, I don't know, off hours or something, you can really reply afterwards, and everything is saved in some type of CRM that we have that aggregate everything and all this things based on the user unique email address.
That's terrific. Helene asked about the difference between the Wix chat tool and a chat bot, where a chat bot actually has pre-written scripts that answer common user questions automatically and then eventually hands it off to a human being. What's your thinking on that at this point?
So first of all, I mean, we discussed about like trust, and it really depends. I mean, you can create a bot that will act like a bot, and you can create a bot that will be much more human and sensitive, I would say. So I think that there are some questions that a bot can answer, or I would say maybe direct them to an FAQ page. that really gonna describe all the top questions that you can have and have answers. And there are some questions that will be good to be in some type of a bot. And the idea of a bot could be really simple, that at the end, what you want is to continue the conversation much more deeper with a potential customer. So you can create like 1 or 2 questions and pop up like a form after these questions. And then you want people to leave the details. So at the end, I think that human connectivity is really important. And this is the goal at the end, to create like building relationships. So you want to just trigger visitors to leave their details. So I think you need to balance between how the bot will act like a bot and how you're using the terminology and the content to be much more human in that sense. So I think this is the balance that you need to do. And of course, you can create like specific automated messages within the Wix chat if you want.
Yes, fantastic. Mimi asked about, we were talking about social proof earlier and building trust on the site. What happens if you're a new company that doesn't have sort of a long history? What I would suggest in that case, Mimi, is to build trust through your own humanity or the humanity of the site owner. If you're building this on behalf of a client, even a simple video from the owner of the site or a manager of the site saying, hi, I'm Mimi and this is my business and here's how we do it. That kind of human touch will help with trust. And then certainly one of the things that I would always advise if you're working with newer companies is to get as many testimonials, ideally video testimonials, from early customers of your clients as possible. So we talked about the online yoga lessons a moment ago. If that's a brand new business, I would want to get video testimonials from students who have gone through the online yoga program, and I'd want to get those video testimonials in the first week of business so that I could start to add those video testimonials using Wix into the website and sort of build that trust and that proof. Yeah.
I want to add another thing to it, Jay, and it's something that really I also advise. I mean, at the end, even if you're a new business, you can do some of the things pro bono, at least for start, for scaling up your business. So you can help a good NGO and just do pro bono for something with a cause. And if you have something with a cause, also you have like your passion and your heart into it. So if you're a new pizza and you want to get delivery to the to the boys soccer team or something like this, if you're a new lawyer, you want to maybe take like an NGO and help them fight something that they have. And this is how you build also the trust and the good reviews and a clientele. So I think that every new website or a client or a business needs its first NGO as a pro bono to build the trust and getting like first tier of reviews in that sense.
Yeah, it's a great idea. We could do a whole session just on this next question, Kobe, but I'll ask you to do it in 90 seconds, so good luck. Can you describe briefly the difference between sort of basic and advanced SEO inside Wix?
All right. So it's hard to do it in 90 seconds, but sure, we will try to do. So at the end, I mean, on SEO, we have 2 different type of levels. So we have like the basic things that you want to do. You have like meta title and meta description and probably your URL. And then you need to make sure that you have like a good content on your website. Then we have a tool called the SEO Wiz, which is a step-by-step guide to help you connect your website to Google. It's a Google and Wix collaboration that we did that really index your homepage in less than 30 seconds. Then there is an advanced things that you want to do. I mean, there are things as canonical URL, structured data, things that in most cases done by SEO professionals or there are tutorials how to do it online. And these are things that are much more advanced. These things really usually in most cases take more time, take more knowledge, and I think these are the different type of lures. I can add another things of advanced, for example. So on my web page, I want people to see different type of images, but when I share it on social, I want the link preview will be different. So if I'm selling water bottles, probably on my website, I want to have like a unique photo of my water bottle, just plain with different colors. But when people share this page on Pinterest or Twitter or Facebook, I want this picture to be me drinking this water bottle because it's a much more of a social interaction with this water bottle. So I want to have these different type of images in different type of places outside of my website. And these are advanced SEO settings called OG tags that can be also edited within the Wix editor.
Great job. See, you did it. No problem.
Yeah.
I loved it. Kobe, thank you so much for being here. Thanks to all of you for your participation, your fantastic questions. We got to as many questions as we were able to. There may be some other ones that we did not, unfortunately, have time to address. Apologies for that. We may be able to follow up on those in the information you'll receive from Wix after this broadcast. You'll get a link to the recording as soon as that is prepared as well. On behalf of Kobe, I am Jay. Thanks again to my friends at Wix for putting this together. Wishing all of you nothing but the best success on behalf of your own business and your customers. Stay safe out there and be well. Take care.